you, my man. Happy holidays to you and your family. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. We have tons of information to cover. And listen, there's all kinds of different planners. There is the Christina, who is the whiteboard planner. There is the Roxanne, who's the whiteboard planner. There's the Julie, who is the complete analytical type. There's the people that love to write notes in their bathroom and in their car and on their refrigerator and everywhere they're going to see it. Right? There's people that put it down on pieces of paper and they keep it in a notepad. There is just people that do it in various different ways. So the idea behind today is to truly just get the gears rolling and to get your mind working and start working around your plan. Are you going to get everything down packed today? No, you might come to multiple sessions. You might hear from multiple different agents. You might do different variations, but at the end of the day, at least have some type of plan and some type of benchmark. We can work through that with you. If you talk to Kenny, Kenny sold over 500 homes early in his career. He did 100 deals and didn't even have a plan, right? So not saying that you necessarily need one, but what I'm going to advise is that you do have one and you do have a benchmark and at least have these two things set in place. First things first, having a goal in mind. Now we talk about goals and we're going to talk about it really quick, just from a very, very high level. Ultimately, what is your goal for 2021? What is your production goal in regards to units? What is your volume goal? And what is your income goal? And we're going to back out of that in a little bit here. But you need to start with the goal in mind so you know exactly what your plan is going to look like through the year. Anybody can say, yeah, I want to do 20 transactions. I want to make $200,000 a year. But if you want to make $200,000 a year, do you know what you're actually going to net? You're probably going to net about $130,000, less taxes, less expenses, less marketing. So you have to make sure that it's not just a number. You know exactly granularly how you're going to get to that number. So we're going to work through some things today, you guys. I might call on you. I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to go through some questions or some questions and answers that I put together. And I went through a mock run of this last night. So the idea is, first off, have a goal in mind. But before you even get started with your year, we talk about this all the time, and it goes back to one of my favorite authors and public speakers named Simon Sinek. Show me a raise of hands if anyone has watched Simon Sinek, read any of his books, attended any of his webinars. So Simon Sinek, when he first rolled it out, was the power of why. We hear it all the time now, right? It is the common trend. You hear it, the big why. Well, I remember when he was like one of the first people that was truly talking about how you define what that why is and how you convey that to other people. So I read the book, Start With Why. And if you don't have that book, it's a really good opportunity. If you're slower and you're just kind of getting some things ramped up for the new year, buy that book, Start With Why, and really get in direct alignment with what your why is. Sometimes people say, well, this is my why. And then their actions don't match up to that. And if that's the case, and it's not getting you out of bed, and it's not letting you and making you fight through every hard freaking thing that you're going to go through in this business, it's the wrong why, right? I know go ahead, Kenny. Oh, Kenny was, hello, neighbor. So I thought I had a why before Silas was born. Right? I came from a life, really tough upbringing. I wanted a life of abundance and never have to struggle like I did growing up. Like I made that vow to myself that I'm never going to go without because I grew up such a tough life. And so I was always motivated and I was ambitious about those things. And then I had a son. So for all the parents on this call right now, that was a complete game changer. I thought I was ambitious before, but now I have a 2-year-old that is looking at me and looking at me with such admiration and such like joy that I'm his dad. Like that is my motivation. So before you plan anything, before you put anything down on paper, you need to know exactly what is that driving force in your life. Anybody on the call right now want to share what their main why is because they're so compelled by it and they want to share it. Anybody want to share what that driving force is in their life? Feel free.
For me, it's I want to start a family.
Who is that? Is that Melody?
Yes.
Cool. And how long? Like what is your time frame? Like what are you guys thinking for planning wise?
Like 12 months.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
So I've definitely been just focusing on like what's that going to look like. And I've kind of been like thinking, because we've had dogs for our whole life. Like basically we both grew up with dogs. And then when we got together 8 years ago, our dogs kind of came together. So now we have 4 dogs between the 2 of us. And we're thinking like, wow, is this what it's going to be like when we have kids? But except they're going to yell and talk back to us, and they're actually going to tell us how they feel instead of just sit there and whine and throw up and piss and shit on everything. Like, it's just going to be so much more intense, but it's definitely something we both wanted for a long time, and it's something we're both planning for. So I'm excited, nervous, but excited. And I'm trying to figure out, like, financially, what's that going to look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
And so it's not only financially too, it's like my time, right? It's like my time is going to be fleeting as I get busier. And then once I have a child, now comes this true game of balance, right? There's nothing positive about being an aholic, and it's an aholic of any sense, an alcoholic, a sexaholic, whatever it is, right? You have to have some type of balance. So making sure that before your child gets here, you are setting a schedule for yourself and you're making sure you have a balance. I'll tell you this, being a father, and I read this a long time ago, the hardest part about being a parent is parenting the you in your parent. I mean, in your child, excuse me. Parenting the you in your child, right? That stubbornness, that sassiness, that like hard-headedness, that's been the hardest thing for me. My son is all astuto. He is super, super stubborn. So congratulations to you, Mel. I love that why. Let's hear from 2 other people. Anybody else want to share what their major why is?
I really want to purchase a house or a condo or a townhome in Walnut Creek next
Love
year.
that. Love that. And so I'm sure you're probably already working towards that, savings, so on and so forth. And I think it was cool. A couple weeks back, Kate had been totally transparent. She's like, yeah, a lot of people ask me, well, are you a homeowner? Like, well, no, but that doesn't mean that you have to be successful in real estate. Doesn't mean that you have to be a homeowner, but it's just, obviously this is what we preach, this is what we sell, this is what we do. And so, okay, cool. So are we talking by the end of the year, you want to be fully into the new house, or is it just sometime in 2021, I want to become a home?
I'm talking like the next 3 months.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I want to just get at it, and I've been working for it for a while now, and being on the team and, being pretty successful the last couple of months, I think it's totally doable. So,
Nice.
aren't you going to buy the place you have now?
yeah, girl, I'm gonna try.
Hey, girl, I'm coming
Awesome.
over to your hot tub. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
line. She's got a hot tub. I'm coming over.
Yeah.
With her 4 dogs. In the hot
No,
tub.
they'll stay at home.
All right, so really great stuff. And you guys, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but let me hear one more. Who else has a big why that they want to share? And whether it's kids, whether it's family, whether it's purchasing a home, whether it's financial independence, what is it? Does anybody else want to share?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, so I don't know. My big why is that like love the world and I want to travel and I want to see like different cultures and like what's the best time than these next couple of years where I give myself like the best life I can possibly live. So like when I'm ready for a child, I'll feel like I'm completed. So that's my big why.
Nice. I love that. So
Yeah.
travel, see the world. What's one place that you would want to see that is top of your list? Maldives, where is it?
Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo, Japan.
It's
Very
been calling me since I
nice.
was 14. I gotta go.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, then what a great big why. Maldives is on my list, and Fiji. I went out to the Cook Islands a couple years ago, out by Samoa, Bora Bora, on the South Pacific. And those people and the culture and the food and the atmosphere are so cool. So I want to go to Fiji and I want to spend about 2 weeks out there. So cool. Good stuff, you guys. I love this. So no matter who you are, what's in your life, whether you have kids, whether you have dogs, whether you have cats, whatever the case is, I want you to get in direct alignment with that true why is. And I'll tell you guys, that why will get you through anything. Like I know Jason has kids and he is a very active father. And like I know Max and I know Bodhi means so much to him. Like nothing will stop me from providing for my son. Like that is a constant draw. When we're like sleepless nights and hustling and the 7 days a week, like I know I'm doing it for him, right? I know I'm doing it for him. And so get in direct alignment. We're not going to spend too much time on that, but just to recap that, highly recommend that you get the book, start with why, and then get really, really crystal clear with what that why is. Having a why and having a goal, then declaring that shit to the world. right? Whether you're using social media, whether it's whatever platform you want to use, but declare that, right? It's one thing to Kate say, hey, in front of 26 people right now, I have this goal. Like, I want that to be so real for you, Kate, that that's what you're talking about. Oh my God, you guys, I am going to go look at decor because I'm going to become a homeowner in the next 6 months, right? Like, I want you to declare whatever it is to the world, share that with your team, and let us help you keep yourself accountable, because if it's that important to you, we want to root you on and make sure that we're in your corner. So let me let in a couple more people here. So, okay. So big why, you guys. First,
I got one too, Elias. So I'm already a pretty decent recruiter. I want to recruit worldwide because it'll let me travel to pretty much any location that EXP is on. I can go meet some people there and hang out for weeks at a time and still get my work done. So trying to find ways to make your why both your passion and your job, like a little bit of everything on one. I feel like I'm gotten successful because I found ways to mingle everything into one. So I don't feel like I'm working.
Beautiful. I love that. And being a huge fan of public speaking, I told Kenny when we go to these Inman things, you let me do the speaking, man, and then you come up afterwards. I'll be like, all right, without further ado, like I plan to be on the road too with you, man. So good stuff, you guys. Before we move on, does anybody else have one that they want to share? Feel free. Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to go on and move into a couple things really quick, you guys. So forgive me, I've closed down most of the things we've been working on this morning, but I wanted to bring this up for you guys. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So first things first, I wanted to talk about, and I'm just going to take kind of bits and pieces from some things that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. A commitment to yourself. It says here, are you interested, committed, or are you absolutely obsessed about your business plan, about your goals? You're about to lay out your plans for 2021. It's your bridge to your future. But a plan without the will to execute is only words on a page. So I want you guys all, and I don't need to see this, but if you want to share it with me, feel free to share it with myself and Kenny. Write yourself a message and share with us about how seriously you are committed to implementing this plan and being held accountable to it. Some people don't like the check-in. Some people don't like to feel like they have to report to anybody, and hopefully you never feel like that. Kenny and I always say this, it's our responsibility to support you in the journey to where you're already going, right? If you have this goal in mind, Kate I have this goal in mind, but she hasn't been on any appointments for the last couple of weeks. She hasn't made any calls. She didn't do any of her prospecting. It's our job to be like, hey, why aren't you doing these things? Because you said that this was so important to you. So I'll state that again. It is not our responsibility to coach you, to manage you, to push you. It's our job and responsibility to support you in the journey to where you are already going. So I would declare that, and I would commit that to yourself and make yourself a note and put that somewhere you can see it, share that with Kenny and I, and look at that tons of times throughout the year. What I want to ask you guys, and we can have this as a simple question for anybody that would like to answer, what additional accountability do you need to ensure your success? And let me let in a couple of the people, excuse me really quick. All right, so I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to go to Jason really quick. Jason, what are some things that you feel that you need right now from the team, from your leadership team, to help you be more accountable in your own career?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, kind of just maybe the occasional touch base just to see what's going on, you know. Maybe that kind of reels me back in to put some more focus on that. Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Cool. Yeah, and I love every time that I have just a touch base call with Jason. He's always so grateful. He's like, man, thank you for just checking up on me and seeing how things were going. So good stuff. How about for the Hernandez sisters? So what are some things that you would need, you feel, to just hold you a little bit more accountable?
I think you kind of nailed it when you said announce it. That's kind of scary to think like, shit, everyone's gonna know I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. But I'm not.
I would agree with Jason, definitely the checking in every now and again. If you see that I know for myself, if you don't see that I'm active and posting stories and posting content, then something's probably going up, something's going down. And
totally.
Just check in every now and again.
For sure.
Not for each other, but as a team, I think we're trying to expand out and get comfortable with other team members. We came from a small mom and pop shop, and so now we're branching out to a bigger kind of team, and so far everybody's really cool. And so yeah, just check in every now and again.
I love that. And as we grow, we get to 100 and 200 plus agents, that is even more challenging. So what we're gonna do and moving forward, just gonna give you guys a heads up, we're gonna be having mini squad leaders. So the squad leader is going to be like, okay, here's the big picture from Kenny and I. Here's Zillow Flex. Here's company generated leads that we're going to be providing. Now I'm going to have squad leaders that can take this 10 group of people and say, okay, let's touch base. How we doing with the calls? Do we disposition? Any appointments? Any challenges? And then let's record X amount. Let's listen to them, and then let's kind of give that information back to Kenny and Elias. So now you guys are going to have another layer of support. Then we have training. Then we're going to have group coaching. Then we're going to have masterminds. We're going to have all these tools. So it's like, if we might not be able to see you as frequently, at least there's going to be these environments where you guys can all come together and help hold each other accountable. But personally, I love calling you guys and just checking in on you and seeing how everyone's doing. Jeff, somebody that's new, he's considering coming to our team. What are some things that would help to keep you a little bit more accountable in this real estate game?
I feel like it would definitely be the checking in. I think that's something that I've been missing, because a lot of times when you get to check in, sometimes you don't feel like you can ask a question, or you feel like it may be a dumb question or something that you should already know. So when someone checks in and allows you accountability, and it doesn't even have to be from a leader. Sometimes it can be your own peer group too, because you can get really, really comfortable with someone in your own peer group that, you just have somebody there just to talk to. It allows you to then get comfortable enough to say, okay, what about this? And it lets that veil down.
Yeah, man. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing. And for the folks that don't know, Jeff, he is already with EXP, but he's going to be joining our team meeting tomorrow. I didn't even know he was going to hop on today. So I love it, man.
Take every opportunity.
That's right, man. You're more than welcome. He's actually a father as well. He has an 8-year-old, or is it a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old?
9-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yep. A 2-year-old. So similar situations. Jen has an 8-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. So I'm looking forward to talking with you further, man. Hopefully you make the decision to truly come onto our team, man. So welcome.
Appreciate it.
Let's hear from one other person. So Christina, what are some things that can help you be more accountable moving? She's like, I knew it, Elias. Yes, I knew it. Okay, Christina, take yourself off of mute. She came with her own stuff. She's ready.
I mean, I have all these boards, right? So that board back there, that's for the big long picture. Then I have this one's the day-to-day broken down. For me, again, it just still goes back to organization. Just the accountability, we talked about in the beginning, just a calendar. And Elias, I share my calendar with you, but there's no shit on my calendar. I'm just not, I want to be more involved in the calendar so I can see what's going on at all times, and not where the is this and that and this and that. But I have to say somehow it's magically working, but I just want to be better. So it's nice. I think Laura and I talked about the calendar, and I share with her, I share with you. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of babysitting, but I just really want to get that in a better place for 2020 so I can execute my plan, since I want to close 25, 30 deals next year. I just cannot be this hot mess. So my message in my IG story was this beautiful mess. All these leaves are falling everywhere and it looks so amazing and gorgeous, but it turns into something amazing. So let's make this mess amazing. That's all I got to say.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? The great thing about this is that you are already successful. Obviously, you've posted some great results, and especially since you came over here, your business has skyrocketed, your social media content has skyrocketed, but we're only human, right? We're only human. If I choose to store everything in here, something's going to slip through the cracks. I'm going to forget to make a call. I'm going to forget to follow up with a potential client. So it's about making sure that you can grow 10% every single year. And the way that you do that is by getting super, super organized and planning out everything. So I really, really like that. And I appreciate you being transparent. And I love the whiteboard. You're like Roxanne. So Roxanne is all about the whiteboard and home office, and she writes down everything. Well, Roxanne came to Kenny and I, she said, well, I need to hit 50 deals next year. I'm like, cool. Well, how can we support you? So Roxanne worked on a new logo. Check it out. It's pretty cool. We went back and forth on the logo, on the lines and the font and so on and so forth. And then she hired her own assistant prior to us even having the virtual assistant. Virtual assistant or her assistant is going to help her with every single listing that she gets, all of the collateral pieces, all the marketing, everything that needs to be done. So basically like her own physical Asana checklist. So she's going to take all of that off her plate. She's like, honey, all I want to do is hold babies, make relationships, and close deals. How do I stop doing all this busy stuff? She's like, system. Oh my God, Kenny's got all these systems. I need to know, I need someone to help me, right? So she now has someone that's going to take all that stuff off her plate and help to keep her focused on what she's really good at. If you've ever met Roxanne, her energy is contagious. She's a fun person to be around. She's like, if it makes me feel like I'm taken away from all the things that I'm really good at, I don't want to have to do it. And now she doesn't have to do it. So she has her own assistant. But same thing with you. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. Leverage these virtual assistants that we have, you guys. How many people on this call today absolutely hate doing peds and scheduling buyer showings? Pain in the ass, right? This has been the worst time to do buyer tours, right? Because you have to spend, if you're going on tour on a Saturday, good 3 hours is spent planning on Saturday, on Sunday, the day before, you're spending hours upon hours scheduling everything. Take all those things and give it to the virtual assistant and make your life a whole heck of a lot easier and better. One other person for accountability. Let's go to one of our newer agents. Ryan, what's one thing that will help keep you accountable moving forward in 2021, excuse me.
I think just checking in with the accountability partners I have on a regular basis. I know Jack and DeAndre, we have a running bet going on with conversations we have every week. So I think just making sure you tap into those folks on a regular basis. Going back a little bit earlier, like if you don't have goals for deals, activity, etc., you don't really have a benchmark to hold yourself accountable to. So just making sure you're clear on those things. And then do it hell or high water. Like on my story a few days ago, like I've been calling people till 7:30 because even outside of my accountability group with Jack and DeAndre, my personal coach or what have you, my deal with Jack and DeAndre is only 15 conversations. My deal with her is 25 conversations a week. So I was calling people till 7:30 on Sunday, trying to get my last 8 conversations for the week. It just is what it is. Like you got to get it done. So yeah, I think just knowing your benchmark and having those people apply pressure is the way to go about it.
Dude, I love it. I love that. And you know what? I was reading something a couple of days ago. Find yourself somebody on the team that's going to be your workout buddy, right? It is 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to do cardio. I don't want to get up. Dude, we're getting up. I'm actually at your door right now. Put your sweatpants on, put your Nikes on. We're going on this run, bro. Like have yourself an accountability partner within the team. There's enough people for you to choose from, right? There's somebody on this team. Like Dewey and Jen used to do that. It used to be $100 a month. If you didn't hit 65 conversations in Chime every single month, somebody's losing some cash, right? And so I love that you and DeAndre and
that
Jack-
$100.
What's that?
It's that $100. Wes was in on that.
That's right, bro.
And
That's
at the
right.
end of the year, we had to pay. I had to pay out like 600. She had to pay out like 4, and Wes had to pay out like 1. Wes was never losing. He's like, last day, crank out those calls.
That's right. But there was always this like, oh, you're not beating me. Oh, wait a minute. So it's like you're pushing to be better than that person and beat that person because you don't want to give up on or give up that money. But then it's like, man, if I made 5 more calls, I might get a conversation. That conversation might lead to 20 G's. Cool. So it pushes you on all kinds of different levels. And they still have that friendly competition, right? They're still neck and neck for the year, number 1 and number 2. Like, oh, you're going to beat me in units, but I'm going to beat you in volume. They still have that going on to this day. So find yourself a workout buddy on the team. You know, if you need Kenny and I to be your workout buddies, we'll be your workout buddies. But I absolutely love that. Anybody else? Go ahead.
There's an app that a lot of agents I know use called Spar, but they use it for the Peloton competitions. So like Kyle Wisso and like, I think 20 other agents, they have a thing where whoever does in Peloton that day puts $100 in, and they had to shoot a video into the Spar app to show that they've done it. So if you guys are really serious about having accountability and you want to make it easy, it could be 5, 10, 20 of you guys combining and joining it and documenting, here's the number of calls a day according to Chime. And it's all connected to your credit card. So you don't have to worry about this whole thing. So it could get as big and hardcore you guys want it to be with the Spar app. Happy to launch it with you guys too.
So Jessica, you said our money didn't go to each other. It went to a nonprofit of our choice. Super, super cool. Love that. I love that. So it didn't go to each other. It was to a nonprofit. I love that. What a great idea. So just ways to hold yourselves accountable, right? That sparring person, that spotter, that workout buddy. I used to have a boxing partner, and we'd have to do boxing every single week, 5 days a week, at 6 a.m. and he'd pick me up. So I couldn't sleep in. I had to be ready. I had to have my hands wrapped. We'd get in the gym early, 6 in the morning, and start taking knocks on the chin. And that helped me every single day to be like, you know what? I'm doing this no matter what. So find yourself a workout buddy, put it in the mouth guard at the bar. So Jess knows a little bit about me. So I used to go out with a buddy and, some roughneck dudes. My buddy would never leave home without his mouth guard. And so in case we got something popped off at the bar, he'd have his mouthpiece. He'd throw his mouthpiece in just in case anything popped off at the bar to protect his teeth. But anyway, she knows me pretty well, obviously. All right, guys. So anybody else want to say anything about accountability, things that they could use or that they are using that's going to help them in 2021? Okay, perfect.
So, sorry. So actually me and Wes, we just joined PAC like last week, but we're going to challenge each other to do like at least 80 calls moving forward every month and then just see where that takes us. Because we both want to travel more and we want to like just really, really kick it up in gear. So I'm going to be his accountability partner. He's going to be mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's take that a step further. If you guys are going to be doing accountability calls or challenges between each other, I want you guys to do recorded call challenges, and then I want you guys to work with Kenny and I. That way we can just listen to them, right? We'll schedule a time where we get some coffee, and we'll both be on our ends, and we'll just listen to them like, hear that what you just said, hear that tone in which you said it, hear that question you could have asked at that time. Let's do that too, because I think it's one thing making the abundance of calls, but what is the quality of the calls and how are we getting better by reviewing and reviewing and reviewing? Anything you want to share on that, Wes?
No, I mean, I'm ready to go. But yeah, I think it would be good to go over some recorded calls and make sure we're like getting it right, refining it and all that.
Cool. And you guys, with Zilla Flex coming, we're not going to spend this time talking about Zilla Flex. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing recorded call like sessions, right? We're going to be able to listen as a leadership team and then kind of group together and be like, all right, guys, let's listen to best calls. Let's listen to some, calls that needed some polishing points. That way we're all constantly getting better. Zilla Flex is going to be a big deal with us. So we're going to make sure to have, some expectations on that program. Plus, anybody that is going to be on Zilla Flex that has received Zilla leads or online leads for less than a year, they're going to have to audition. Kenny, do you want to show them the buzzer? So this is happening. So Kenny and I just created the Calendly link before we got on this. We're not going to get too far in the weeds on that, but we're going to have auditions coming out soon just to make sure that you guys are sharp and ready to go for Zilla Flex. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into some questions and answers. Hi, Roxanne. We were just talking very highly about you. How are you?
So I had to hop on because I heard I'm being talked about. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew Mel called you. She said, girl.
Bad. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Roxanne. Hey, we were just talking about your plan for 2021 to hit 50 deals. We were talking about your assistant, and we were talking about your whiteboard. Anything you want to fill the team in on that and how that works for you?
Oh my goodness, you guys all know about my whiteboard, and I'm gonna have to fill it up with more names on it to get those 50 deals. But no, I don't really think I have anything else to fill you in on. I'm just doing the same thing I've always done, just making more calls and dropping by more houses and leaving more pop-by gifts and all those things that I do.
And cleaning out sewage drains in front of the properties and do whatever she can.
Absolutely. That's my property.
That's
I want to
right.
clean it with my own two hands.
That's right. So many people think that there's so much like gloriousness behind this industry. There's not.
No
There's so
glory,
much
baby.
grit and hard work and just getting your hands dirty and doing whatever you got to do. You look in Jason's trunk, it's like, smoke detectors and CO2 alarms and probably a bottle of this or a bottle of that. Like that's how Jen's trunk is, right? It's sold fast signs. It's this, it's a pair of shoes, it's a jacket, it's all these things. So hey, we saw your story, Roxanne. Love your hustle. Absolutely love your hustle.
So
Thank you.
I was on the phone with Roxanne the other day, and it was about 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And she's talking to me about how she's outside this rental sweeping. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, she's doing it for a client. We're all talking about business planning and the team and how we're all excited to be, going into 2021 together. And she goes, yeah, as soon as I have this photographer, I can get this on the market and start getting my money back. I said, what are you talking about? She said, my house. And I said, you're cleaning your own house right now in Richmond at like 6 o'clock at night all by yourself? And she's like, hell yeah, girl, I'm about to get this money, honey. It was the funniest thing. She's so cute and she's not scared of shit.
I love it, Roxanne. So yeah. If you guys don't follow Roxanne on social media, follow her stories. It's absolutely incredible. So let's get right into a couple things, you guys. I want to share a few things with you really quick. Let me pull this up really quick. All right, can everyone see my screen? We good? You guys can see my screen? You guys see a questionnaire here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is that Eric?
What's up?
Is that sweet, gentle voice Eric?
Yes, it is, my love.
Thank you for being you, my man. All right, guys. So listen, I sent these questionnaires out to you last week. It was half of it. And then I sent another portion of this last night. Now, like I said, everyone is different on this call. We have the more analytical. We have wherever you land on the DISC profile is how you're going to be when you set up your plan. I said for today, the idea is just to get some framework going, to get some ideas brewing. So first things first, everyone should know their numbers for 2020. If you don't know the numbers, don't know how to get the numbers, feel free to reach out to myself, to Molly, the leadership team. We can pull your numbers. But if you are doing more than 2 deals a year, I'm sure that you guys track your numbers. Carmen, is it safe to say that you know your numbers from 2020? Is she going out of the frame or is she? Okay, well, Carmen just took herself out of the frame. Okay, so was that a thumbs down? All right, well, I think she has an idea of what
I have an idea, but yeah, I don't know confidently what that exact number is. I should. Shame on me. Thank you for putting me under the bus there, Elias.
No, I was simply asking a question. So my question to you, no matter where you're at, if you say, I want to grow this next year and I want to do 10% more, I want to do 15% more, I want to make X amount more money and I want to hit that 350, 400 mark, whatever it is, how do you know where you're going if you don't know where to start? So if you need that, we can get that for you, Carmen. Not a big deal. Happens to most top producers. We totally understand. But like we said earlier on in the call, what is your sales goals for 2021? Kenny and I have a big picture goal for the team, but we don't want it to be our numbers. So over the course of the next 2 weeks, we want to get everyone's volume goal and everyone's unit goal. And then we want to, as a company, declare that to the world, what we're going to do and what goals we're going to set, not the ones that we set for this company. We want it to be completely organic and we want it to come completely from you guys. Janita, I'm sorry, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
I didn't. You asked a question. You said, raise your hand at this, and that I was replying to your
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, so things to start looking at when you're doing your plan. Obviously, your net income and your gross income. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Julie, our numbers agent, put together a really cool calculator to start tracking your expenses throughout the year, looking at quarterly expenses, yearly expenses, operating expenses, and what you're actually going to be taking home and grossing. And so I want to make sure that you guys have a sense of how to track all those numbers. How many seller represented transactions do you think you need to hit your goal? Whether or not you are a buyer specialist or whether you're a listing specialist, you should probably get a sense of who you work with the best and where you want to focus your energy for 2020. How many seller represented transactions, and this should say how many buyer represented transactions do you need to hit your goal? On an average, how many appointments per month do you need to achieve these numbers? And I want you to really think about it. Like, how many calls do I usually make on an average in order for me to get an appointment? And generally, when I get an appointment, how long is it taking me to get that person in the contract? Those numbers are going to be all over the place, but you can get a true sense of an actual average if you actually break these numbers down. So let's go around the room really quick. I want to ask some questions. Did you guys prepare a business plan for 2020? For somebody that answers that question, yes, please raise your hand or say, I did. I'm going to pull up the screen here.
I didn't.
Who was that?
No.
Okay. All right. That's the next question we'll get to. I did not. Okay. Who did create a business plan for 2020? Nobody on this team created a business plan?
I tried to do one, E.
Say again?
I tried to do one. I had never done it before. It was a hot mess.
It's like how everybody waited till the last day to sign up for Zillow Flex.
Okay. And why didn't you create one, Jason? Just found it a little bit challenging to create one, or why?
No, I did. I created one for this year coming into 20. But obviously the wheels fell off this year. But I had never done it prior. So I really didn't know what I was doing or, how to really even approach the task, if you will.
Okay. Well, cool, man. So my idea today is to make things just a little bit more granular from like a macro, right? We're talking high level when it comes down to all the mechanics and all the numbers and all the components and all those things. That might not drive you, Jason, right? But to have an idea of, I want to make $250,000. My average sales point is this, less my split, less my taxes, less my marketing expenses. What am I going to be taking home? Based on that final number, how many transactions do I need to do in order to hit that number, right? So I'll show you some simple math equations so you can back out of it and be like, okay, cool. I know I want to hit $250,000. My average sales price is $800,000. That's going to be about $16,000 after my split. After taxes, it's going to be about 10 G's. How many of those do I need to hit in order for me to hit my 250? That way it's real, right? It's one thing setting a goal and throwing it out in the universe, but if I don't have a plan, I don't know exactly how I got to that number, it's not real, right? It's fleeting and it's not an accurate goal. All right, so for somebody that did set a goal for 2021 or a business plan, they had goals, did anybody reach their goals in 2020 already? Anybody want to share? You guys are quiet. Johnny boy, is that a yes?
If there's every year to not hit your goals, at least you have some excuses in 2020.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I'm going to speak for Jen. She's on the call today. She had a goal, and that's all she talked about was 24, 24, 24. And she went 5 months without an escrow, but she is going to hit her goal, and she's exceeded her goal of 24. So that was something that was in mind. She didn't have the mechanics down. She didn't care about the volume. All she wanted to say is that she was able to do 10 more deals than she did last year, and she did that. Next year, she wants to do 35. So for the people that answered no about the business plan, let's go around the room really quick. I want to ask you guys why you did not create a business plan. Anybody feel free to step up. This is a environment you guys can just talk and feel free to share with me. Why did you not create a business plan?
I just procrastinated. I had previously I was with Genesis, and I was supposed to do a business plan with Marco, and I just simply procrastinated. By the time I got ready to do it, half the year is gone, and I just said, oh, wow, there's no point in doing it now.
No, and listen, I really, really appreciate that transparency and that honesty. Sometimes, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's really hard to create a business plan. And like Melody just put here in the chat, I'm not good with numbers, right? You don't have to be good with numbers in order to have some really clear-cut goals for yourself and an action plan. And an action plan, Melody, that speaks to who you are as a person. If you guys know Melody, she's super, super emotionally driven. She's very high octane emotion. So you can't have something that is over analytical, because what will happen for Melody? It will lose her, right? She's like, okay, this is too analytical for me. I don't really like this. And she's not going to stay on track with that. So create a business plan that speaks to who you are as a person and speaks to your DISC profile. So if you didn't have a business plan, I think it's a little bit harder for you guys to keep yourself on. Let me open the room here. Sorry. It's going to be a little harder for you guys to keep yourselves on track. And so let's talk about this. When we think about this year, I think this year was a really big challenge, because what we faced is that last year we had the ability to do open houses, right? Fortunately for you guys, we have, put you in a position to get great lead opportunities. But what are some of your biggest challenges in this business? And I want to open this up because I think that this is a really, really important question to ask. So let's go around with some of the people that haven't had an opportunity to speak. I'm going to go to Jack really quick. Jack, what do you think some of your biggest challenges are in this business?
So far right now, honestly, I think the biggest challenges I have right now is a lot of my clients are just kind of on the fence about what's going on with the whole COVID situation, which I know really is an excuse. And like, honestly, I actually had a pretty good week last week. I had like 3 or 4 people get pre-approved. And thank God I did so, because now it's like kind of wonky and weird. But yeah, I think honestly, I just kind of had a slow start from where I started. And now I'm just starting to pick it back up my business. And now I'm getting used to those calls and like talking to people about those serious conversations instead of behind the limelight. So I think that was my biggest thing. So I think I'm just catching up now.
Good, man. I appreciate the transparency. And for someone like you, Jack, you're still relatively new in the business. You have a great experience on the listing side from your previous team. I think for you is building a sense of urgency in your presentation. And it's not a sense of being pushy, but it's showing people how this market is moving, what they need to do to put themselves in a position to win, and building some level of urgency. And like I said, we're not being pushy, but it's a level of urgency in our presentation. JJ, how about for you? What are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now in your business?
Complacency. I'm gonna be honest, man. This time in, I've had enough business that just falls on my lap, and enough of the other income that I make that it really allowed me to be super, super, super lazy as far as handling what I should be handling in my actual business, which is selling and buying property. And a lot of opportunities have come my way when I actually paid attention to it. So, my ancillary stuff, which is investment property, always ends up blowing up when I take my business seriously. So more than anything else, it's just me.
Man, I love that. And complacency. By a show of hands, how many of us have gotten complacent one time or another in our career? Yeah, it happens, right? But for JJ too, JJ's got another source of income. So for you, JJ, you have to say, okay, what do I truly want to make? How am I going to allocate my time? And what is going to be the best use of my time to make 300, 400,000? Because I can get by, right, with my investments. And I think that you're doing that. You're doing fine. But is that ultimate fulfillment, right? Because in a year, there's people on this team right now that will make 300, 400, 500,000 plus in 1 year.
That's right.
That shit's game changer, right? If you made $500,000 in 1 year, that shit will change your entire life. Right? So when you think about it, you have these opportunities to buy investments, but if you had that extra money to go and buy more investments,
that's right,
to pass on to your family, what does that mean? So it's like, I need to make this a primary focus, right?
That's what I did to make it happen. Exactly what you said. I exploded for 3 years, had enough money to buy a bunch of stuff, and then I rested on my laurels like a dummy.
And it's not a dummy. It's that we get comfortable. Right. We get complacent, right? You have to find that drive within you to say, I'm going to keep going. I have 4 investment properties right now. I need 9 investment properties, and I need to do that within the next 6 years. How am I going to do it? I need to sell X amount of houses at this price point at an average commission of this. And this is what my plan is in order to get there. Because, dude, I love that you have investment properties, right? And I love that you have supplemental income. But at the end of the day, can you grow that, right? And you can't. Right. And thank you, JJ, for being honest and transparent and saying that I got complacent. Anybody else want to answer that question? What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your business? And don't be shy.
Converting. I think, I'm spending a lot of time in the lead pond and making cold calls, and sometimes it feels like a never ending rabbit hole when you get maybe voicemails all the time, or a lot of people, a lot of them are past leads. So they bought 6 months ago, they bought 9 months ago. So they're kind of dead in the water. So just keeping up the morale and motivation, but also figuring out a way to, to maybe turn someone that just bought and convert them. Like, I don't know what that conversation sounds like, but just turning the leads into gold somehow.
You know what? I love you being transparent right now. And thank you guys for your honesty. Listen, let's just be as honest as we possibly can in this environment. A lot of times when you're a newer agent or you're not that skilled in converting online leads, the conversation will happen and you'll be in rapport and you're building a dialogue, and you make the fatal mistake of not actually asking for the appointment, right? And I say this in all seriousness, like, okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set you up on something that's called Real Scout. You're gonna get alerts and I'm gonna set you up, right? So it's being able to have that courage to say, you know what, I'm just gonna ask them for a face-to-face or a Zoom to Zoom, right? Listen, I would love the opportunity to meet you and at least share with you what the home buying process looks like, Ryan. I don't care if it's 6 months down the road or whether it's a year down the road. I want to at least be your advocate from start to finish. So let's do this. I have some time on Thursday as well as on Friday between 5 and 7. What would be a good time for us to connect via Zoom, right? I'm asking for the appointment. So many times as newer agents, what we do is we don't ask for the appointment. We do the let me know type of close. And I promise you, man, the more that you ask that tough question, asking for that face-to-face or Zoom to Zoom, you'll get more opportunities and you'll convert more.
One of the other things, can I just add to that? One of the other things that I see with newer agents is you are, a lot of times they act as if they're interviewing for the job. Just act as if you've already got it. Pretend like that person's already going to work with you. Don't even sit there and talk to them about, hey, what can I do this? No, just say, hey, listen, so these houses are available. This is pretty similar to what you're looking at. If we put you on Real Scout right here, we could probably go look at this stuff on Friday and have them tell you no, which is fine. Let them tell you, they're going to tell you no by saying, I'll think about it. So just have them give you a hard no and you can move on to the next person much faster, because what happens is a lot of the times you don't want to hear that no. So you end up wasting 3, 4, 5 follow-up calls on somebody that isn't really interested and they're just being nice to you. So just act as if, once you're talking to them, it's your business already, and have them straight up tell you, no, thank you, I do not want to do that. Then you're okay.
Yeah.
I want to jump in real quick too. Hey, Ryan, you got a great voice and I've heard you on the phones before. You do a great job. This is just a numbers game, man. The more no's you hear, the closer you are to hearing a yes, right? So it's a numbers game. You got to keep your head on straight and not get discouraged and just handle the phone calls. That's it, man. You're doing a great job.
That's right. 100. Just always think I got to hit 100 no's before I hit a yes. So every time you hear a no, you go, yes, I'm closer.
And the fact that you and DeAndre and Jack, or you have accountability groups that nobody even said, hey, have these groups. You guys are on it. You guys are always making your phone calls, sending text messages, creating videos, posting them on social, man. So, but it's about keeping your head in the game, right? Sometimes it's challenging. I'm getting knocks on the chin. Like controlling this is most of the battle. So love that. Thanks for the input, Eric. And Christina, when she meets somebody, and you guys, if you watch it, she's not hoping somebody is going to be or choose her as their agent. She's like, I'm your agent. I'm your girl. Look no further, right? This is it, right? And so, what's that, Christina?
I'm like, I'm your girl.
Totally.
Well, I mean, in the perfect example is the Xfinity guy. You know what I mean? Like, he came to my door to help me. And then I was like, hey, by the way, before you leave, take my card. I'm sure you know somebody that wants to sell their house. And he was like, I do. And I'm like, what? Okay, now his house is on the market and please help me sell it. But I'm just saying, don't be afraid to ask. You just never know.
That's right. That's right, you guys. So I appreciate you guys sharing some of your challenges. Let's go back into our list here. What areas of your business need improvement? And like we said, we were just talking about this a second ago. It might be organization. It might be lead follow-up. It might be, managing your CRM so everyone's on a drip campaign, everyone's on a follow-up system. Whatever the areas of your improvement are, like take this time. Someone, will you mute yourself? Sorry. Take this time to really look at your business and to find out what are those main areas that you need to improve on your business. What can you address these challenges? What can you do to address these challenges and overcome these? Like I said, these questions are really just to invoke some thought, to prepare you of what's coming down the road and say, okay, I'm going to be super transparent with myself and be like, these are some areas where I feel I have some challenges with. These are some areas where I feel like I need the most improvement. And then also being able to look at your team and being like, who freaking kills it in this area, right? Who is dominating their social media? Who's getting the most lead opportunities from social media? Who's converting on at a high level? When I listen to best calls, who has like the best script? How did they get that swag? How did they get that confidence? Let me team up with that person. Let me ask them questions. Let me shadow them on phone calls so you guys can improve, because the village is here to provide tons of resources for you. Have long-term goals and break these down. Your 5-year goals, 3-year goal, 1-year goal, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I literally always tell you guys this: back out of your goals. Set the big goal and then say, exactly how am I going to be able to reach this goal and be able to back out of it? Like I said earlier on in this call, everyone is different. Find what works for you. Write this down, put it somewhere that's visual, and make sure that it's a constant reminder. So many times what we do is we write goals and we set them down in a booklet, and we put that booklet down, right? It's not something we see every single day. Making sure that your goals are visual is going to help you separate yourself from being able to grow and not grow. Let's talk a little bit about working in your business and time management. How do you prioritize your daily activities? And I wanted to ask Eric, who has quintupled his business since last year. Eric, what are some things that you do in your daily activities to prioritize?
To be honest with you, that's something that I need to work on, is time blocking, because most of the times I'm running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to, prioritize whatever. But I've been getting better at it. And one of the tools that I've been using that's really been helpful is this app called Todoist, like to-do list, but Todoist. And it's been really helpful because I make checklists every morning not even in that morning. I actually start working on it the night before, because if not, I'll spend, you guys probably do the same thing, but I'll be in bed trying to go to sleep thinking about like what I need to do the next morning. But by setting up a checklist and kind of focusing and being, just being intentional, I think it makes a huge difference in the productivity in my next day. So for me, I try to plan my day the day before, make a checklist, and then I also go in my Google Calendar and try to time block certain areas of time where I need to do stuff. Like I need at least an hour of prospecting every day. I need at least an hour just to follow up with my clients that I've been nurturing. And then I need another hour, to set up, do admin work or whatever it is. But, again, I've been, that's, the question that you asked just before this, Elias, of what, I'm struggling with. And that's one of them, right? Because the truth is, now that I've quadrupled my business, I'm busier than ever and still super busy. I'm like, fuck, when is my next vacation? Because that's my biggest struggle. I want to take a vacation where I don't have to think about real estate for like a week straight, like not think about it at all, because I haven't had a chance. And I'm not bitching or complaining about my current situation, because I feel very fortunate with the business that I have, but I'm trying to get to the point where I can organize my time better so that I do have free time to focus on myself. And just kind of like what you posted today, Elias, like you got to A, focus on you, then B, focus on, whatever, right? Something like that on Zillow or whatever you posted. And I think that's true. I think we all need to focus on ourselves before we can focus on our business to be truly productive and successful. So that's just kind of how I feel and where I'm at.
Yeah, man, I love it. And so just to recap, it's called Todoist. The link is in the chat room. And I think this is something we fall into, right? What happens is a lot of times you get super productive, very quick. And then you're like, wow, I'm running around, like Eric said, with the chicken with my head cut off. So being able to slow down and creating yourself almost like a daily and weekly Asana checklist, right? When you get in a contract, that checklist is created for you. So it allows you to say, here's how I'm going to measure the things. I got to release my contingencies on this date. I got to do my admin on this date. So it helps to keep you on track. It's the same thing with your daily activities. I need time for admin work. I need some time for myself. I need travel time. I need prospecting time. I need database cleanup time. So spend that time and time block everything. If you look at Kenny's calendar, every single thing is time block. even putting Christmas lights on the tree, even dinner with his girlfriend, even driving to wherever he's driving. You got to make sure that you're super granular with that and really, really get on top of your calendar, because I tell you what, that's going to help you. For somebody like Eric, I think the goal and the question is moving forward, can I take some of the agents that are new and growing their business like he was 2 years ago, take them under my wing and have them do showings for me and have them partner with me. If you guys are doing 20 plus deals and you want to do more, then start partnering with agents to leverage your work and be like, hey, you work all the front end, I'll do all the back end, and I'll do all the paperwork, right? And so I think for somebody like Eric, he's going to be able to start leveraging and helping some of our new agents and helping his business, as well as teaching and guiding along the way.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, Elias. Yeah, so I was feeling a little overwhelmed with my workload and just being on top of all that shit, and I didn't want to lose more business. So I have been partnering up with some newer agents, and it's been really, really awesome for them because they've been learning, and it's been really awesome for me because it frees up some of my time. So some of you more experienced agents, considering that, you should definitely take advantage of that. And that's, I think, one of the huge benefits of being on this awesome team.
Totally. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I've partnered up, obviously Jen and I have our partnership, and I've partnered with Omar, and I've partnered with Melody. It's fun, and you get to learn from somebody else, and you get to throw ideas at each other, and you get to communicate in a different way. And it's just, there's a lot of like solidarity in this business, but on our team, there's no reason for solidarity when you have all these people that are willing to help and learn and to provide advice and insight. So highly advise, if you have the ability to start partnering with other agents. Says here, do you often find it challenging to get tasks done? If so, what types of tasks mostly slip through the cracks? I will speak for the masses. I think one of the things that slips through the cracks most of the time is admin work and prospecting, right? Sometimes, especially when you're new, I have all these things to do and I have all this busy work to do. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll get to my calls later. And I fail to get to my calls. Reverse that. The number one thing that you should be doing as a new agent to fill your pipeline is making sure that you prioritize. I love what Jack, Ryan, DeAndre, Will, Pete, and a lot of our newer agents, they make time, and it's a non-negotiable time. You guys, you get your coffee, you got your scripts, you get your mindset ready, you're ready to go. You have no distractions, and you buckle down and you make your calls, you guys. That's what it takes sometimes to get super, super busy in this business. Let's do this, you guys. I want everyone to take a quick break. And I want you guys to write down what are some things that you can change, make sure that this doesn't happen, that you don't go get unorganized, that things don't slip through the cracks. What are 3 things right now that you could work on moving forward to make sure that these things don't happen? Please take a second to write down your 3 things, and let's go around the room and hear from everyone.
Sorry, I was totally distracted. Can you repeat that question one more time?
So what are 3 things that you can do moving forward? Let me go back to the question here. What are 3 things that you can do moving forward to make sure that this doesn't happen, that you're not organized, that things are slipping through the cracks, and to get better with your organization? What are 3 things that you could do right now moving forward to get better at those things? Are you growing the mustache back?
It's only going to take like 3 months, but yes, I am.
It looks good.
You don't have to lie, bro.
I like it both, but I like the mustache, bro. I literally just shaved 4 minutes before I got on the call. I was looking a little rough. All right, guys, give it about another minute and then we'll have some people share.
I can share too while we're writing. Been trying to make an effort to. Last night I got held up on a show and went to bed late, which was like 12:45, and I had to sleep in this morning, which wastes an hour more than I usually do. So I've been trying to make an effort to sleep earlier, always like before midnight by any means. And then yesterday I spent like an hour setting up my calendar because a lot of my downline is booking me for appointments, and the hour recruiting calls are way too long. I've learned that now. I really need to cut them down to half an hour. If I need to, I can do additional hours. And I learned on Calendly, I can set availability Because then I got booked randomly for 12 o'clock tomorrow. I was like, crap, that's after a team meeting and before business planning. So I'm not even have time to breathe. I was like, this is not cool. So moving forward on my calendar, I booked out, I can only be booked on Calendly through after 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and then leaving half hour to breathe between my coaching calls on Wednesday morning and my coaching call on Thursday mornings, and my coaching call with the team on Friday. So just trying to like really be smart my schedule when I'm allowing people to get into my schedule. And I just did all this there yesterday on Calendly.
You know, and I can build off of that too. It's for me, when I have Silas, like I don't want to spend my time on calls, on Zooms. Like I want to make sure like all those appointments that I have to get done, like are done. So like I have that undivided attention with my son. I know sometimes it doesn't always work that way, but there's no reason why I can't prioritize and time block in a way that I can get all that done. So when I'm with my child or when I'm with my lady, like it's undivided time, because they deserve that. So let's go around the room and let's hear from some people that made their list. Let's go to Donna.
All right, I got unmute. Yeah, going back on that last night, I need to learn there's so many new agents in our office to like partner up, because like showings, like I was like from Castro Valley, Hayward, all the way up. So I'm like, I need to clone myself, right? But I need to learn how to leverage and use a lot of our, newer agents that can have that and get that under their belts. And so prioritize. My significant other yesterday said the same thing. Is like, can you take a breather? Because you've been in front of your computer like all day, like doing all this. I go, you know what? That was the only time that I literally sat in front of my computer for hours getting all this paperwork done, right? Because at the end of the day, paperwork is huge. Like contracts from 10 page to 15 page next year is pretty insane. So, that's my one thing, is to make sure that focus that, our family does need our time. And it's just like, when they say, can you take a breather? That means wake up, right? It's like, but I have a lot of things that I need to do, right? But at the end of the day, so that's my number one, is I need to focus on time blocking. What I'm going to do is learning to, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist, right? This is what I learned back in a long time ago, and never learned how to implement that until now. So, and what you put out there really is, if you keep saying that you're gonna be busy, and thinking you're not focused, you're gonna be like that. So, when Kenny said putting it on that calendar and blocking in time space, if you need to reach me, block it on there, and that way, and being, members of other different organizations, they want you as well too. So learn to time block. That's one thing that I'm focusing on right now. Number one.
Love it. I love it. And then Kevin, if you want to share what you wrote here in the chat, I think this is powerful stuff, man. Bet on Bowie. You're muted, Boomer. He needs more snare in his headphones. I can read it for you. So go ahead, Kevin, try again. Yeah, we got no sound from you, bro. So Kevin said, time block everything in calendar and follow through, and try not to work after hours. And I love that. He's newly engaged and really set his schedule. That's great. Number two is be more open to leveraging things out to VAs. This for trying to work on work-life balance. I love that. Absolutely love that. And a lot of times, let's be real. Sometimes it's hard for us to give up some sense of control because we're so used to doing everything, right? But the VAs are going to help you guys leverage so much of your time and free up so much of that administrational time to focus more on prospecting or time with the family. So I love that. Good stuff, Kevin. Let's go to Pamela. Pamela, what was on your list for things that you can do to overcome those hurdles? And you're on mute. There we are.
Okay, so basically the same thing, just time blocking and just really tightening up that calendar and making sure that, that's a game changer.
For sure. That's right. Who else wants to chime in on what they wrote down? Kate?
I'll chime in after Kate.
Yeah. So I'm really focusing on social media a lot, and I've been doing that for the past, I would say, maybe like 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it on the spot. And sometimes I don't know, I don't want to do my hair, my makeup. And so I just don't post for that day. So I really want to start posting a couple of times a day and then saving some to post like maybe one of those days where I don't want to like do my hair and makeup. You know what I mean? So just kind of do something like that to be more
Yeah.
consistent.
Okay. And we love your social media content, and I think it's great. And I think I can even see, because your studio has been your car, right?
Yeah.
You shoot most of your videos in your car. I think like you should do like a spin on that and have like a videographer from the outside showing like the inside of your studio and like coming around like here's Kate in her studio, and there's the actual videographer showing that. So I love that. It's good stuff. Michael, what did you want to share?
All right, so I got a few, so I need to make sure I get this on recording so you guys can hold me accountable. All right.
Hey, wait, you got family on here too, so
Oh yeah, I got
Terry,
80,
Pamela,
like
let's
80
keep
family
them.
members now. It's a lot of us, but
Let's go.
all right. So just overall, getting accountability for my schedule, so time blocking all that, and just tying in going to sleep earlier, waking up earlier. And in the past, I've had success with waking up and working out, so getting back into that rhythm. As far as accountability partners, calling. So anybody that's into calling, I'm definitely trying to learn and get into that. And yeah, just partnering as far as social media, all that good stuff. And yeah, so I'm working on all that. All you guys, please hold me accountable, whoever. And yeah, best of luck.
I love that. I love that. Who else has something they want to share?
Man, I don't know how I'd feel if my mom was on here. I'd be extra accountable. No, that's all good, Michael. And I like the tweet for accountability, and I'm gonna do the same thing. And my number one is time blocking. Like everyone else, I think we've covered that pretty well. I'm gonna try to like review it too to get to the end of the day to see how far off of my schedule we are. Like today is one of my first days really sticking to kind of a minute by minute schedule, and I knew I was like 10 minutes late getting back to my desk after dropping my daughter off at school. Another thing I'm trying to work on is just being a little more engaged and present when I'm not working, so I can kind of give some of my family some time and fill up that cup. So when I am working, I can be a little bit more focused and kind of communicating that to my family too. Like, especially when we're trying to work from home a little bit more, like just because I'm at home doesn't mean you can talk to me or interrupt, but it's going to go both ways. And when I am home, I'm going to try to be engaged. And tonight, my wife and I are trying for the first time. We told our kids from 7 to 8 o'clock they can hide our phones for an hour. So
Yeah.
we're straight up going to not have our phones. And I figured I was on the phone with clients at 9 o'clock last night, but I figured anything that comes in at 7:01, they're not going to expect a response right away. And if I get back to them at 8:01, it should be fine. So it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but from 7 to 8 today, we're going to have no phones. We're going to try and do that a few times a week, and I think that'll just help me be more productive when I am working, because I don't feel like I'm kind of going back and forth between trying to be engaged with my personal life and work as well. So
Yeah, I love that. Love that, John.
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Please do.
Aside from what everyone said, just one little caveat is sticking to your guns. I know when we time block, it's easy for, you get that client appointment at 8:30, but you're supposed to prospect from 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 or what have you. Unless offers are due at noon, maybe, and the veterans can speak to this, but I think sticking to your guns and your time blocks is really important. Otherwise, pretty soon they're not going to exist, because anyone can call you for an appointment and take you away, and your schedule just becomes haphazard at that point. So,
and touch on that a little bit. I between meetings or I'm on Zoom call, I don't pick up my calls. I make sure everything's answered. But if I'm at a lunch or anything, I never take my phone, because then you can easily just get distracted from what you're doing, and 15 minutes later, you're off to your next appointment, you'll miss something important.
Yeah, we actually we heard on a coaching call earlier, Kenny and I, about this service, and we'll probably roll that out and put the link out. It's called Lex Reception. So no matter who calls you, no matter what time it is, these people answer the call, and it's kind of like your own call service or your answering service. And they can even ask vetting questions to the people that are calling. So nobody ever gets a voicemail and you never miss a call. There's always someone there. And so we're going to put the price and everything. A couple of top teams out there and top agents are using it, and they said it's amazing because they never miss a single call. So anybody else want to share what's on their list before we go to the next section? No? So scheduling time, I'm going to share this, scheduling that downtime with the people that you care most about in your lives, whether you have kids, fiance, wife, girlfriend. Last week, Jen and I, we went to a concert in our living room. Well, I'm a huge live music fan. We were supposed to do 40 shows this year. I did 30 last year, but obviously we're not able to do that. So we spent 3.5 hours in the living room watching Tiny Desk performances on YouTube. And it was the coolest thing. We sat there, we chilled, and we like spent time watching the concert. Kenny's like, "You guys are at a concert?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Where, dude?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just in the living room." But, you know, like it was scheduled and it was important. So, you know, we didn't take any business calls, and that's just what we did for the evening. So I love what you're saying, John, like making sure that you guys have your time to truly connect as a unit. I love that. All right, guys, let's go to the next section here. And pull back up my screen here. All right, you guys. So now we're talking about leads and obviously opportunities and how we're going to start organizing these things. Now, I created this. I just filled out the questionnaire on my own as if I was you guys. And so started filling out some of this. So it says, how many new clients do you need to meet a weekly basis to meet your monthly goals? So when we think about our big goal and what I need to do every single month, well, how many people do I need to meet on a weekly basis to meet my monthly goals? If I need to meet 10 people every single month, then I need to set my goals every single week on how many people I need to be reaching. When we think about your main streams of income right now and lead sources, now everyone's going to be a little bit different depending on where you are in your business. I broke mine down to what I like to call the 5 pillars of production. And this is just something that I've used for many years. What are the 5 main streams of income and lead sources? Obviously, your SOI. If you've been in this game for a long time, you've probably graduated into most of your business coming from referrals and now obviously social media. Those two go hand in hand. For some of you, you might have a really, really strong social media game. And what I would do is I would talk to people like, you know, like Dewey and Jen and Kate and Eric, who are getting tons of opportunities from social media and seeing like what's working for you guys. When do you post? What are the ideas that you have behind your posts? Because people are cleaning up. Kenny gets, you know, tons of referrals every single month from social media. Obviously, he has a huge following, but he's built that over time. So Kenny, any advice that you want to share with the team on some consistent things that they can do to make sure that they're getting eyes and getting more engagement on social?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of agents that says they don't know what to post on social media, and that the things, you know, if you think about it, that's kind of strange because it really, every like Instagram clip only takes 15 seconds. You can stop what you're doing, take a breather, like literally actually take a breather, stop and just document what you're doing right now. It just, we're seeing a lot of agents kind of get in the rhythm. Like Jason does a great job of that. Kate does a great job of that. Carmen, Will was like picking it up. And I think it's one thing our team does really well. If you don't know what to kind of say or do, just, you know, follow suit what your friends are doing. Cause if you're out doing something, it's always interesting. People love reality TV. I think trash reality TV is probably the number one thing people watch. We're not trash TV, but it's just very interesting TV. You know, like I was thinking last week, I was at a house, you know, documenting the way the sun beams against the wood. I was like, wow, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't been to a vacant home and talking about the home in a while. But I talked about the air ducts, talked about the paint. There's 4 types of wood. And it's like, no, I haven't heard. I think that's interesting because no one else has talked about that specific to that house. So when you're, you know, when you're on social media, pretend you're talking to your client. Pretend you're the inspector talking to the client. You'll always have something to say. So don't think about, oh, this is social media, I'm trying to get leads. No, just be a trusted advisor and just go about, talk about whatever you're doing that day. Like Kate started a trend. Like if you really see online, like a lot of people are copying what we're doing. Kate started a trend where like, you know, how much do you think this home price is? And I never get it right. But anyways, but me neither. But that's kind of fun, right? One of these days, I'm get it right. But now it's the other agents around our area doing the same thing, right? So it's just, this is kind of the power of the team. You just watch what each other is doing. Like Jason really had some terrible agents that didn't put the lock boxes out. Like I still feel for him for this day. And I know that's a situation. I reposted what Jen posted last time. I've never got so many DMs on someone else's video. I think like 18 agents hit me up when Jen was talking about, you know, Redfin clients calling in just to use you as a showing agent. And my DMs were flooded that day. And Jen said she had like 8 or 9 people hit her up too. See, this is nothing even special we're talking about. We're just talking about our day, and it's interesting.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times people struggle with, well, what is my content? Well, your content is your life and the things that you're doing in this business, you know, on and off the field. You guys are all interesting. You guys all have a cool story, and you can all share it in your own way. It's about making sure that you're documenting your journey. Like, we can go around the room and I can tell you what a lot of you guys are into, you know what I mean? We know Peter's into riding his bikes, and we know Jason loves the low riders, you know what I mean? We know that.
I bought a bunch of weed the other day and I had like 10 DMs. Like, look what I got.
Exactly, right? It's like stocking up for the apocalypse, right? Like Kenny went to the dispensary. We know Kevin is a freaking master chef, right? So it's like there's so many things that are going on that are interesting and cool with you guys. And if you're ever feeling like you need more content, then just look at what your fellow teammates are doing. Like, cool, that's inspirational. I can do that. Like, look at the Hello Neighbor. Like, you know, Michael's doing this, and like then we got some behind the scenes shots. It's just, you guys are all cool, and I love seeing everything that's going on. People have come to meetings with Kenny and I like, are you guys the only team on social media? Now, we're the biggest and we're the most frequent, right? You see it. We're out showing homes, we're doing this. Roxanne's cleaning gutters, this, that, and the other. I mean, this is exciting, and nobody is doing it like we are doing it. And so learn from your fellow team members and share, you know, your journey. Company generated leads. Obviously, you guys have the lead pond now, but ZillowFlex is coming. ZillowFlex is going to be, by this time next year, we're probably going to have on an average of 1,000 leads per month, because they're going to up it after 3 months, 10%, and then, or excuse me, 10% every month. And after 3 months, they're going to up it 20% every single month. So we're going to have an abundance of lead opportunities for you guys. So, you know, this is a great way for you to say, okay, if I can close 5 of these deals every single year, even if I'm paying a 35% referral fee, what money is that going to equate to? And now I don't have to spend that money in generating leads on my own. Partner referrals. You guys, we're talking about strategic partners, whether it's insurance companies, general contractors, or whether it is your lenders. There's tons of ways for us to be generating referral opportunities from our partners. And quite frankly, if you're not getting any leads back from your lender, it's probably time to look at some new lenders, right? There's tons of lenders out there that need people that can convert leads.
So Elias, I just want to show you guys something that's happened like this minute. Like, oh, actually, I'm screen sharing. Someone.
Let me give you share screen. Let's go.
So like social media too, like you're trying to create your tribe online. That's why you're always helping other people, and then in hopes that they're gonna also be part of your group. While I was just talking to you about, you know, whatever. Hold up, wrong group. Someone just posted a referral in here somewhere. And then immediately I added the person that was looking for someone on LinkedIn. I added them on Instagram, and I just messaged them on Facebook. And then within a minute, Mary said, my agent has a referral for me. I referral, and then Christina's gonna hit me up, and then Christina just contacted me and has a referral for Bay Area. So like, frequent all the Facebook groups, and you got to pay attention to it too. But if as you're building your tribe or your squad online, when referrals pop up in those networks, they're going to shout you out. There's some people that dominate Lab Coat, but I have my own good crew in there, and I always make an effort to always shout out people I know. Like, if I don't really work San Jose that much, so when someone's San Jose, I always shout out my friends, or someone in Napa, I'll shout out my friend, because you're trading, and now you're building up your own group for referrals. A lot of referrals I get aren't even from an agent. It's actually many times it's from an agent that knows that some other agent that's looking for someone. It's like, oh, you need to hit Kenny up. So in this situation, this happened like a minute ago.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys take a look at all of those groups and try to participate and give your insight. And if you see a lead opportunity, be that one of the first people to jump on and send them a DM. How do you currently get leads? Obviously, I just filled this in, Zillow and farming. When you think about somebody like Carmen, she farms a particular neighborhood in Hayward, and she's done this for many years. Did she see a payoff right away? No, but over time, now her name is exposed in that community. It's 3,000 homes every single month. She probably spends a little over 30 G's every single year, but it's consistency. All she needs is 1 or 2 deals, and it's paid for itself. She doesn't miss a beat. She sets that in her calendar. Her newsletter goes out every single month, and it's just standard, and it's part of her business. So here, what are a few ways that you can meet potential clients and get leads new to you, things that you aren't already doing? If you had children, trying to get involved with the school, the newsletter, being able to speak on panels, things like that. Strategic partnerships, like I said, whether it's divorce attorneys, insurance agents, wedding planners, people that are, going to be joining forces. The wedding planners probably know these people because they're coming to them to start their future, and content creation on social media. Like we just said, some of you are still just learning how to do social media. Start documenting your journey more and start sharing that with the community, because that's what sells, because it's real. Do you time block your lead generation hours? And we talked a little bit about this, in our when we were discussing time blocking, and answer that question and be honest with yourself. It says here, if you had to guess, how many hours a day do you spend generating business, right? All of us came from some type of structured environment. And we'd have to clock in at a certain time. We'd have to take our lunch break at a certain time. We'd have to take our breaks. We'd have to leave at a certain time. We'd have to make sure that our time clock was signed and dated at this date in order to get our paycheck. So we all came from a structured type of environment. You have to treat your real estate business in a similar fashion. Be like, I need to have structure, right? I need to wake up at this time. I need to get to the office. I need to do my calls. I need to do my admin. I need to follow up on this. I need to do this. I need to eat, whatever the case is, but treat your business as a true corporation. Said, how can I make this prospecting time more effective? I just answered a question in here. And like I said, it just some mock answers in here. I could stay out of my emails and IG and make this time non-negotiable, right? Sometimes when we're going in our prospecting, it's easy to get on IG, it's easy to look at other things. And so it gets us a little bit off track. I put here, I could warm up with 5 calls each day with my workout buddy. And we elaborated on this earlier, so I don't need to talk about that before I begin my calls. I'm gonna call Jeff, I'm gonna call Peter, I'm gonna call Melody, I'm gonna call Pamela, I'm gonna call Donna, and we're gonna just go through some of the phone calls right now. That way I'm warming myself up before I hit the field, right? We're going to throw the ball. We're going to get loose. We're going to run a couple laps around the track. Then when it's ready for game time, my voice is warmed up and I'm ready to go out there and start catching some balls. I can practice my scripts in the mirror. I can study the market for 1 hour before I hop on the calls for conversation pieces. That's going to make you more effective in that time before you get on the calls. So think about that. Like, okay, I'm going to call Jack today. Jack loves to do accountability calls. I'm going to call Jack and we're just going to role play through a couple calls before we get on there. Hop on your local, whether it's Altos or however you're pulling data, get some great conversation pieces so it sounds fresh too. You should always have some fresh content to speak about the market, what's moving, San Francisco, globally, locally, nationally. That way you have some good conversation.
Yeah, our Slack channel for the market updates. Like if you guys have worked with me before, like every time I'm going to a new appointment, meeting a new buyer, like really what I'm doing is I'm reading half the headlines I read last week and what I learned that week. Cause then yeah, the market's hot or soft, but like you can get into the granular, like, Oakland, San Francisco rents are down 30%, but did you know from month to month, it's only down 3%. Oakland's only down 1%. So we might be at the very bottom of the market now versus, rents are dropping, whatever. Like it's just too broad, but you can read the stuff in the market updates. You'll sound much, much smarter, which will increase your conversion because you'll need to talk to less people because they're going to shop less agents because you sound like you know what you're doing.
Totally. And then it's not the basic surface level conversation that a lot of us have with the client, right? It's the normal questions that we ask. You're really being able to go a little bit deeper. Like, oh, you guys, I saw this yesterday. I read this. Let me share this with you. So it helps to add some richness to your conversations. It says here, do you use the CRM? Yes. Chime for company generated leads and KV Core for SOI leads. So in a sense, you're going to be managing your database, your CRMs, but by a show of hands or a reaction, how many people are truly, truly organized right now with their CRM? Okay. How many people feel that this is an area and opportunity for improvement? Let me stop my share really quick. Okay, cool. Cool. I saw a hand over there because all I see from Carmen and her sister is this part up. And so I can't see a smile or okay, I see some hands. Nope. Real Scout does count. Yeah. Hey, if you're using Real Scout, it's kind of a way to supplement that. The one thing that Real Scout won't do for us is it won't allow us to do like true follow-up smart campaigns and the CRMs. Once you dive into them, you'll be able to really get super organized with your follow-up plans. Okay, so CRMs. Anybody else? Let me see. Okay. All right, cool. I would spend this time, you guys, really, really dialing in your CRM and making sure that that is set and ready to go for the new year. It says here, do you categorize or bucket your contacts? What I would do is I would start tagging everybody, engaging, showing, writing, nurturing, and I would be able to have all these people in certain buckets. And I think that's one thing that we can do really good this time of year is start planning for the bigger picture. It says, how many times a year do you touch your database? Well, I just wrote this as an example. I have 900 leads in my database. My plan is to touch my clients a total of 12 times, equating to 10,800 touches for the year. If I'm doing that type of touches throughout the entire year, my probability for me to convert for appointment is going to skyrocket. But what happens is that things come in the way, like Eric was saying, I'm running around, I got things going on. But if I set that on my calendar, like every single month, I'm going to go through my database and I'm going to clean it up. Or I'm going to leverage the assistance of our VAs and have them help me clean up certain areas or categorize or go and be like, hey, I need you to categorize. Here's my spreadsheet. Here's all my nurtures. Here's all the gauging. Here's all the people that are writing. And here's all my closed clients. Can you go in there and just tag all those people for me? Like leverage that, because that's now going to help you. I can go and filter it in KV Core or in Chime, and I can filter it by all my tags, and I can bring them all and be like, okay, these are the people I'm going to want to call, right? All my home anniversaries are coming up. You know, I want to make sure that those, I never miss those. I'm going to go and categorize all my closed people. So making sure that you are getting your database, or excuse me, your CRM running very, very smooth right now. What is your marketing plan right now? And this is obviously a longer conversation. We won't have the time to go into your marketing plan right now. But what are some ways that you track yourself and hold yourself accountable? Right now, I know the one thing that we do as a company is Sisu, but do you guys have any other programs or tools that you're using to track production and the things that you're doing throughout the week or month or day? Because Sisu has been the one thing that we use, but are there any other tools that you guys are using? I know that Eric had mentioned one. Anything else that you guys want to share? Let's see, someone put in the chat room here.
Hey, Kevin, are you in Tony's Robin coaching?
He said, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember he shared us something.
Okay, cool. So get a coach that will help keep you accountable. I know that Kevin has a coach that helps him with his RPM. He could talk about that at another time. Check out his Slack post he put into the templates and scripts channel in Slack. Kind of shares with you a great method. I was going to have him talk about it, but we're having some mic issues. It says here, do you track your appointments? Google Calendar, obviously, we talked a little bit about time blocking. Do you use it consistently? I put religiously. What can you do to improve your accountability? Review my goals daily and weekly, listen to my calls, set alerts and reminders for the most important tasks, post about my wins, post about my shortfalls for the day, right? I think that it's easy for us to post about all the things that are going on good in our career, but also, you know, post about the shortfalls. I know Kate is great about posting about her clients losing out or 15 offers, and it was challenging, and her clients were helping keep her in the game, and all these things. Like, track and speak about those things because it helps keep you accountable. Working on your business, marketing materials, budget, and social media. Do you plan your marketing activities in advance? Social media, farming, holiday cards, etc., and do you stick to that plan? Yes, I have a plan set for the entire year that is set to launch 1/15/2021 and every subsequent month following. I have a marketing calendar that I will share with everybody that it lays out different things that you guys could be doing for the entire year. Starts with January and then every single month after that. Whether it's a springtime announcement, it's this, that, and the other. There's something that you can share with your clients every single month. Now, normally we would send something out. The next month we would knock on the door. We don't have that luxury, and we're not going to have that luxury for some time. So I would think now is a time where you to truly build out your MailChimp campaigns. Has everyone built out numerous different campaigns in MailChimp to send out to all your clients? So Jason, I saw yes. Let me get a reaction from everybody else. Okay, all right, good. So you guys spend this time right now building out MailChimp. What Julie's going to do, who's going to be heading up our marketing department, she's going to help us build campaigns for different seasonal events, right? So you have all these campaigns that you can just dive into and be like, okay, cool. On the 15th of the month, I'm going to send this out to 900 clients. every single month. You'll have all these templates to build out. So first and foremost, make sure that you have your MailChimp campaign set up. And in the coming weeks, you guys are going to have tons of different things to choose from. And moving forward, you're going to have tons of resources that you guys can choose from to make sure that you're touching everybody via MailChimp. Let's see here. What improvements can you make to your marketing plan? Defining my campaign and touch points for the year. I think a lot of times what we say is that I want to do these things, but I don't really have a very clear-cut understanding of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to focus. I need to set like Carmen, if you can chime in really quick. I know that you send out something every single month to your farm. It's 3,000 people. How did you choose that area? How did you define that budget? And how long have you been doing this?
I mail out a newsletter. It basically will have like showcase my listings that I have coming soon, properties that I've had pending or that I've, closed. And, little recipes here and there. I do that every month. And then like, for instance, I just sent out with my December newsletter, the calendar for next year, for a magnetic calendar for them to put on their refrigerator. And I'm also doing notepads, so quarterly, like every 3 months. Well, and again, with the whole COVID thing, that's kind of put a halt on that. But typically I like to quarterly hit them with like a notepad or something of value, something that they can use.
Nice.
And how long? I've been doing that for, God, I want to say about 5 years now, at least.
And if you could quantify the amount of leads that you've developed from this campaign, can you put a number on it? An average of how many leads you've gotten?
Again, at the very beginning, there was none. So it took a while to get to where it's at. But I think this year, I got at least 6 listings from my farm, at least.
Wow, 6 listings from her farm. And it took a while for it to obviously take flight and catch fire. But it's something that you send out and who sends it out for you? Do you have an assistant or somebody that helps you with that? What's that?
No, it's just a mailing company. You can just get any mailing company to send that out for you.
Do you use Corefact or who do you use?
No, it's just this mom and pop guy, but honestly, I'm ready to ditch him. So I wouldn't really recommend him. I mean, him and I are kind of bumping heads right now. But you can just get any mailing company out there to send that out for you.
I love it, you guys. I love it. We can talk more about a farm on a different conversation. But the idea is she set that goal out. Or set that amount of people that she's going to hit every single month. And she does that rain, snow, or shine. And she's gotten 6 listings from that in a year. That's some people's entire year. So really good job, Carmen. Love that.
Thank you. And just to kind of go back to my farm and how I picked it was because I'm from Hayward and I wasn't born in Hayward, but I've been raised in Hayward my entire life. And so for me, the area that I chose is around an area that I'm familiar with. I went to school there, so I feel confident about what I know about the area, and so I can sell the area.
Love it.
I picked it.
And think about this, you guys. What are the areas where you feel that you would have the most influence in? If it's in your backyard, if it's in your neighborhood, if it's where your kids go to school, then maybe that's where you should launch your campaign and set a budget for the year. So I love that. And I love that it's working out for you. Going back to this, defining the campaign and touch points for the year. Analyze and update your marketing material. What is missing from your marketing arsenal right now? And I think this is super important. I put essential to your toolkit is a strong buyer's presentation, your listing presentation, your high note presentations, and I said elaborate. So whether it's market update, in contract, now I'm in contract, things to do, however you want to build it, but making sure that you have multiple high note presentations, mix max templates for offer prep, in contract, pre-close, lender referral page, review links. What else, you guys? What else do you believe is essential to have in your branding and your marketing collateral, digital presentation items? What are some things that you feel are essential that maybe weren't on that list?
Videos.
Who is that? Sorry, who is that? Videos. So elaborate. What do you mean videos?
I think that's a really easy and effective way to stay connected with your clients, just sending them videos, whether it's like a 10-second, 15-second, like, hey, what's up? Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope things are good. Or, sending a little like article that you read along with the video and be like, hey, I read this article. I thought of you. blah, blah, blah. You know, I feel like it's a really effective way because it's so much more effective than just a text or like email. You know what I mean? For them to see your face, especially when you're really good looking like I am, it's super good to be ahead of them. Thanks, Jason. I see you laughing there. That was a joke, everybody. I'm not fooling myself like that. But anyways, yeah, it's a great tool.
You're hot, sexy guy. Don't.
You're
follow
hot.
me.
Are you, bro?
What kind
Thanks
of
for
video
the
are you talking about? What exactly are you talking? Direct video to them, or how would you create the video? What are you saying?
Yeah. So what I use is
Because I'm one of the old guys. Don't forget.
It's all good, man. I got mad love for my boomers, man. It's all good, JJ. I see you. I use so one of the great tools that Kenny taught me, in fact, probably my favorite tool of them all is Mixmax, which is like it integrates your emails to make it look way more professional and stuff. And within Mixmax, there's a video app, I guess, whatever you want to call it, that's free and included with Mixmax. It's called Vidyard. And it's pretty much like a free version of BombBomb. BombBomb's hella expensive, and you know, why pay for something when there's alternatives for free? But yeah, Vidyard is definitely a really, really good tool for connecting with your clients and being like, you know, in front of them and getting your face, you know, out there so they feel more connected to you. So look into that. It's awesome.
So Vidyard, or excuse me, so Mixmax is a Chrome extension and it's a free service. So if you have Mixmax, you can literally go here into an email, hit the Mixmax, and you can do a video. And you can say, you know what, I'm gonna start this video and I'm gonna say camera recording here. And let's go here. So we won't do this while we're here, but I could simply say, hey, Ryan, just wanted to follow up with you. You know, I found this article, I think it's great, or just want to say hello or happy anniversary or just touching base. I know it's been a few months, and then I embed that in the email and I send that out to them via email. This is a free service that comes along with Mixmax. I highly, highly recommend that you're doing. And Eric, I appreciate you saying this because when you're thinking about your plan and your marketing plan and your prospecting plan, obviously, the obvious is making phone calls, it's sending emails, but where in that plan does, well, I'm gonna send text messages today, right? Roxanne every single morning sends like 5 to 10 text messages out to clients. And then also in that plan, where am I making time to make videos? Even if it's not on Vidyard, maybe if it's just a text message direct from your phone, who cares, right? But the idea is that you have this multifaceted approach and you're trying these different avenues to reach people. Like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna send text messages out to these clients. Then the next day I'm gonna send out, you know, 10 videos. And then next day I'm gonna make 25 calls. But having this multifaceted approach will get you in a better position to win. Kenny, were you gonna say something?
Oh, no. For Mixmax too, when you upload the video, it sits in the database. So if you did something more generic, like, hey, thank you for reaching out about this, look forward to connecting with you soon. You can reuse that video without actually filming a new one. If you're trying to do it really efficiently, but it's to record a video does not take very long.
That's right.
Yeah, and you can send mass ones too. And the awesome thing is, like, for example, this lady who was a referral called me and she was like, hey, I'm looking for something like 1.5, but to be honest, I'm looking for someone that's a little bit more experienced. And I was like, okay, fair enough, you know, I get it. But you know, right after we got off the phone, I sent her a video and was like, hey, you know, it was nice connecting with you. I totally get that you want to talk with some more agents, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, here's a video introduction so you can put a name to a face. And then I also included my high note buyer presentation along with it. And she was so impressed that she actually emailed me today and was like, hey, I want to work with you because you're super proactive and I really like your style. And so boom, that it works. You know what I mean? So it's totally worth the time. Get over the fear of being in front of the camera. And that's something that Tom Ferry says all the time. You know, videos are so important to our business, especially now more than ever. You know, again, with lockdowns and stuff, videos is such a good way to connect with clients. So
it's building a rapport. It's easy to ignore easy to just ignore an email, right? Oh, this is agent, whatever. Next, like this video, man, like I have to at least check it out, right? And this is this guy with no mustache or mustache, can't really tell today, but let me check out what this guy's up to. And then they play like, okay, this seems pretty chill. Like the other people have been bombarding me with listening alerts. Well, this guy is on top of it. He has a presentation. He knows what he's doing. So he feels like you're trying to earn more business and you're efficient at it. So people want to work with people they can connect with.
And it's a sense of being real, right? Like, oh, I like the way he looks, I like the way he sounds. Like, this is some dude that I feel like I can connect with. Or it's like if you have kids, like, hey, how are you? I'm here. You know, my
leverage
son,
your children.
Yeah, my son has been in tons of videos, right? So it's like showing them that you're just a real person, not just an email. Oh my God, the market's hot and blah blah blah. This and that. It's like, spare me. I'm just going to delete that. I see a cool video. I'm going to at least be curious enough to watch it. So love that. Absolutely love it. So there.
What's Dewey doing?
Yeah, attaboy.
Mauricio Moves you. There you go.
Yeah, Mauricio Moves is launching this year, right? Love it. I love it. Yeah, you guys. So being able to include like a multifaceted approach. Some of you might be great writers. Some of you might be great on camera. Some of you, might send great text messages. It's just try different things and then have this multifaceted approach where it's just the norm for you. Good stuff, John. Or good stuff, Eric. All right, so let me go back into my list here. Get out of here. All right, guys. So a couple more things before we close out, and this has gone a little bit closer to time, so I want to make sure. Okay. Have a marketing plan and establish a marketing budget. Julie, are you still on with us right now? I know she was on a little bit earlier. All right, so I'm going to bring this up. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Yep. Okay, cool. So Julie created this, obviously our numbers agent, genius mind. She created this so you guys can get a true sense of where the money is going, where the money's coming from, and then be able to include taxes, what you're expected to make for the month, so on and so forth. So over here, she has all of her her monthly expenses and then amount, and then the total here. All of your annual expenses, such as your MLS dues, DocuSign, everything else that you pay annually, due date, and then the breakdown here, and then other auxiliary costs like gas and parking and marketing, so on and so forth. She put it here, allocated total month. There's an L missing here. And then average monthly income was $10,000 at a tax bracket of 24%. You look here at your 2021 expense projection. So you guys can go in here and literally put down everything that is going to be your potential expenses for 2021. And we'll send this worksheet out to you guys. It's actually in Slack right now, but we'll send it out again. That way you guys can start plugging in some numbers. But let's take a quick look at line 25 and 26. If my income potential is $10,000, then obviously I made $5,600 this month. It's going to change this number here. Well, my cash flow and my total available cash is going to vary throughout the month. So we want to make sure that you guys can look at your whole entire year and start to forecast and start to project what you guys are going to make throughout the year. Here, she has everything set aside for taxes, which is really, really smart because as much money as you're making, you got to make sure that you're setting that money aside to make sure that you have enough money at the end of the year and enough savings to pay for your taxes. If we look here, the total amount of the big number here is $120,000. Well, after expenses and after taxes and less all of that, this is the available cash flow of $89,000. So you have to start looking at your business in this big overview picture of what am I spending? What are my monthly, what are my expenses for marketing, for things that I want to launch for my farm? And this is something that you guys can use and start plugging and playing with these numbers. So that if you haven't gotten yourself in a tax trouble, are you even a real estate agent though, right? And so this is just a great way to look at, okay, well, if I want to make 120,000 take home, I probably need to be clearing net about 180, right? So Julie, let me see if Julie's on really quick. I'm going to ask her for a quick question. Julie, hey, no worries. Hey, Julie, do you want to kind of explain the sheet here a little bit more in detail? Do you want to share with the team how this has worked and build off of this?
Yeah.
Let me bring it back up.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So if you scroll to the top, monthly expenses are basically expenses that occur on the monthly. They will bill you on the monthly. And you can put the expenses there plus their amount. The total will come out and then that will be your monthly expense.
But then also there are also annual expenses, and then you shouldn't look after like not account for them because they're sometimes pretty big, like the association expenses, like a thousand something. And then I use Rental Meter, that's also charged on an annual basis. DocuSign, our Dropbox. So all those stuff, including your domain, which is a small amount, but I added in anyways, they're all charged on annual basis. But I also give them a monthly breakdown because you want to budget for that expense into your budget on the monthly. So at least you're saving money for that, so that when the time comes, you have money to pay for them. And then there's also other things like gas, parking, like other, that includes like if you eat out or marketing.
And then Julie, really quick on this marketing section here on line I and J, is this your monthly marketing expenses?
So, because I'm planning for next year, and then I want to have more listings next year. And then with listings, there's associated marketing like photography and like, I don't know, other things like Facebook, social media ad budget that you want to account for. So depending on your business plan and how much business you want to do, like how many listings you anticipate to have, you probably want to have like a budget for that. So that in the end, on the bottom, it says allocated total per month. So you'll see on a monthly, what's your average, but the total per month, that includes the money you're saving for the annual expenses that got broken down on the monthly. So you're not saving like a huge amount, for your annual expenses. You're actually saving up for them on the monthly basis. And then depending on so average GCI monthly, that's like how much business you plan on doing every month. So I just put like a random number in it, and then it's associated tax bracket, like 24%. And then next is like 32, I think. So you can look that up on Google. And then that should project your entire expense on the bottom. And then the blue is just to, if you scroll up on the annual, I also have dates on when those things are due. Like on January, the association dues are gonna kick in. So I will put it under January so that you can see how January expenses are much, much greater than other months. So your cash flow, that's how you budget your cash flow, because you're anticipating like you're gonna have a bigger bill on March, or you're gonna anticipate you're having a bigger bill in January or something like that. And then the rest is
so for down here, so the actual income projection on line 25, less the 1393 in this 99 gave us the number of 8508.
So I have a formula in there. If you put in an actual input, the actual income will actually reflect the input instead of the projection.
Okay.
English, please, Julie.
She said English, please.
Oh, so the actual income, the green, if you click on that, okay, the formula is not there anymore. So it has a formula that predicts. If you put in something in the input, it will read the input. But if you don't have anything, it will read the projection. The if, yeah.
Okay, so point being is this is your actual income for the month, cash flow. So just for an example, just for the sake of this 8508, that's less this number here, right? So is the 10,000 less the 1393?
Less the 1492.
The
The total
1492.
expense on the red. The red is the sum of the whole column.
And then what is this 99?
99 is DocuSign. So the blue columns you need to input manually, and all the others don't touch.
All right, cool. Cool.
And then your total cash available will be, okay, after all the expenses for the month of January, I'm gonna have $6,000 something to use like however I want, because I already set aside money for tax and I already accounted for my expenses. So if I want to buy like 3 MacBook holder bags, I can with this money with no reserves on, because I already accounted for the cash that I need.
Okay, cool. And then I saw Kenny and somebody else posted refer.bench.co in the chat box. So
Yeah, we use I've been using Bench for many years now. Yes, you can use Mint, but you realize like the hours you spend cleaning up your database on Mint, whether this charge, that charge, and you have a lot of things going on. You know, if you're trying to make $100 an hour and you spend 6 hours doing your monthly expenses, you're not going to be making $600 an hour. No, $600. You should be paying a bookkeeper $150 to kind of handle all your stuff. So maybe more for senior agents that have a lot of stuff going on. Bench.co is great because it puts out an annual report, and then every year I just hand that off to my CPA, and then they get everything done. So it makes my life much easier. And then it starts recognizing your charges from certain companies, and then on a recurring basis every month, you're not documenting those, taking time to document those things either.
I'm able to do this because like my monthly expense is like under 3,000, so like is okay. But then I would imagine if my monthly expense is like over 10 G's, I'll be like, okay, I need someone to do this for me instead of me doing a spreadsheet.
Something too for you guys. We didn't talk about it today, but you guys should definitely get S corps if you're making any significant amount of money. Because through S corp, you also get like a 20% tax savings pass through. And then it's smart to kind of keep a business account. Like I use Chase for all my stuff. I have like 4 credit cards with Chase and my debit card, and Citibank is my personal stuff. So they never get mingled unless I just literally don't have my credit card with me at certain points, and I can make a note of it. It's easier to keep all your stuff write-offs for your company versus write-offs for your personal. And then like more advanced, I'm bringing back my LLC, Fast Holdings, that I used to do flips many years ago, now to buy the Fast House. And then that Fast House is going to rent out the house to Team Fast Agents, which is my company. Now the entire house is a write-off. But I can't even do that if I didn't have this third LLC to go through that. So like when you have more money or trying to be more organized, you're going to have to get a little more sophisticated. So hiring a CPA, you know, you're probably making over 100 grand a year. You should definitely start on a CPA. So they can actually save you a ton of money in the future.
Yeah, for all of your business expenses, definitely get yourself the Chase Rewards card or wherever the case is. That way, everything that you do in this business is all in one account. It's a great way to keep it organized. That way, you're not trying to go out and kind of like break everything down. So, you guys, tons of stuff to cover. Obviously, there's more layers to this, but we wanted to end there. We want to make sure we keep everybody on track. There's 2 minutes before we're due to close out. But John, I love your hair, bro. Let's do this, you guys. Let's just hear from a couple of you guys. What are some of your key takeaways from today, and how has this helped you, kind of get prepared for 2021? Feel free to chime in, anybody.
First and foremost, I feel very fortunate to be on a team where there's so many like-minded people, and the willingness to help each other. It's super fucking amazing and inspirational. My biggest takeaway from this is, we have so many people on our team that want to just absolutely crush it. And I look forward to crushing it with all of you next year. On a side note though, maybe Kenny or Julie can like lead a class one of these days on how to do a spreadsheet, because I suck at them. And Julie, you are incredible and you're like a fucking numbers wizard. You should change your tag to that, the numbers wizard, because shit, man, looking at that spreadsheet gives me a fucking headache, and it's awesome that you're so good at it, and you should share it with us. So thank you all.
Good stuff. What else, you guys? What are some of your other takeaways moving forward? Business planning, thoughts, ideas? Please share. Takeaways from today.
Version of it on Slack, Eric.
Say again.
I was gonna say she shared it with me a couple days ago, and I think she threw up a version of it on Slack. I'm not sure.
Yep, it's there. Awesome. All right, guys, let's go around the room, hear from some of you guys, some takeaways from today's sesh. Anybody chime in?
Be proactive. This stuff can really slip through the cracks quite easily. You have to be proactive, and if you set it on the side, nobody's going to notice. So you have to really, really keep it in front of you, because the year will go by real quick. 2020 is a perfect example of that. If you don't keep it in front of you consistently, it just slips and no one's really going to say anything about it.
Yeah, love it, man. Thank you for sharing. Kevin, how about for you? What were some of your takeaways from today's sesh? Kevin M. Sorry, man, you're muted.
Sorry. My big one is just time blocking. And I've got some great ideas to kind of start making San Ramon specific content that I really want to put into that time blocking and just own this valley that I've lived in for 35, 40 years. So.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, guys, what else? Hit me with anything else that you guys took away from today.
My biggest takeaway was to actually do a business plan for 2021.
Okay, good.
And to have someone hold me accountable by sharing their goals or my goals with them so they can, help me with that. Also, not getting so, like, I think it was Eric that said it's a numbers game. So don't get so frustrated when I'm calling and keep getting voicemails. I mean, it's like, I just talked to you 2 days ago. You were so interested. Now I can't reach you. So it is frustrating, but just keeping focused, time blocking, and it's so much information, but those were a few things.
Good. Love it. Angela, how about for you? Some of your takeaways from today's session.
The biggest thing was I already text Christina. I'm like, hey, accountability partner girl, like we need it, not just in real estate, exercise, everything, keep that mind right. The biggest thing is like, hey, the planning, like the whole business plan for a year. This year, you guys taught me so much just in general about real estate, like how to write up offers, how to, just do a buyer consult, how to understand a contract that I'm asking everybody to sign. And so now to take it even a step further, like I'm super excited. And yeah, and anyone who has some really cool high notes, share them with me, please, and thank you.
Yeah, put them in the chat box if you guys have any cool high notes. Kate, any takeaways from you from today?
Just to have like an accountability partner. I feel like I've kind of been a solo agent for the last 7 years. And so it's been pretty tough for me to, give business, so not give business away, but you know what I mean? Like share business with other people. And I've taken on a lot. And so I talked to John about this, like I'm kind of trying to learn how to delegate that to other agents so that I don't lose out on those deals. So.
All right, good. Love that. How about for you, Martha? What are some takeaways from you for today?
Probably create a business plan for 2021. I've never done one, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm new agent, so I have no sales, so it's really a blank slate. So I'll have to really dial that in and figure it out.
For sure, love it. And then let's end with Joaquin. Joaquin, what were some of your biggest takeaways from today?
Really just to get hyper focused, right? Because one thing is to create a calendar for the week, but then you get a phone call or you have to go do this or do that. And then me working a 9 to 5, that could be a little difficult as well. Yep. So I really got to manage, really from like 7:30 to 9, I'm kind of free. So that's where I really just have to hyper focus and then get ready for what's going on that day. So really just work on that. Definitely touch up on the business plan for next year. I'm very excited, kind of like what everybody's saying here. They're very motivated. So I'm just excited to be part of it,
Good. I love it. I love it. You guys, I want you to just look at your business from the macro view. Obviously, we talked about tons of different things today. You heard from your teammates, you heard from me, you heard from Kenny. It's just an opportunity for you guys to just start unpacking everything and then loading up your bag for 2021, making sure that you have a vision, you know how you're going to get there. And mind you, the plan might change along the way, but at least have some framework and a benchmark of what you're going to accomplish in 2021. We're here to help you. Lean on me, Kenny, and John and the leadership team to help you guys if you want to get granular, you want to set up some one-on-ones. But we really appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you for being here, and we appreciate all your hard work and effort. We really do. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, have a good one.
Thanks, guys.